In the Kamyaka forest, as the 12th year of exile is coming to an end, a very interesting incident happens. One day, when the Pandavas and Draupadi are sitting and talking, a Brahmana rushes to them and tells them that a deer has stolen away his kindling and churning rod that he had kept for lighting up fires for the yajna. He had kept it by the side of a tree. An antler came to scratch its head at the tree, and his antlers got stuck with the kindling and the churning rod, and he ran away and could not be caught. The Brahmana requests the Pandavas to follow in the footprints of the deer and catch it and please return his tools. Now the Pandavas pick up their bow and arrows and run after the deer based on the footprints and the traces it has left on the forest path. They try to shoot at it from many directions, and even Arjuna is unable to hit it, and the deer is able to escape. They sit and wonder how this happened, how the great Arjuna, of all people, could not bring down a deer in a forest. They wonder if they are papatmas now. They wonder if, having tolerated injustice in the courts of King Duryodhana, they no longer have enough virtues that they're able to do the bare minimum tasks of a Kshatriya. And as they're sitting there, after running around the forest for many an hour, Yudhishthira asks Nakula something. He says, "Brother, please climb up the tree and look and find some traces of water because we are all thirsty." Nakula, from the top of the tree, sights some cranes. And these birds give him hope that there will be water nearby. Yudhishthira now sends Nakula to go and fetch some water for everyone. In due time, Nakula finds a pond and is approaching it to drink water from it when a sound from the heaven comes and warns Nakula, "Do not drink that water. Answer my questions first, or you will die if you touch the water and drink." Nakula is too thirsty to listen to this voice. He picks up the water, and as the first drop of water touches his lips, he falls down and collapses. Back in the forest, the four brothers are waiting, and after enough time has gone, Yudhishthira asks Sahadeva to go and fetch Nakula and the water that he had gone to get. The same thing happens again. Sahadeva finds the pond, is about to drink water, and the voice, which happens to be the one of a Yaksha, tells him again, "Do not drink water from it. Your brother tried to do it and he has died. His body is lying right there. Why would you drink this water?" Sahadeva, although worried for a moment, still decides to drink the water and also collapses. In due time, Yudhishthira sends Arjuna, who comes to the pond, and watching his two brothers lying dead, he picks up his bow and arrow and stands at guard. Since he sees no one and he is also thirsty, he tries to drink water, and the same voice gives the same warning. This time, Arjuna realizes that someone has actually killed his brothers, and he picks up his arrows and starts aiming it at the source of the sound. When nothing is attained from it, he puts the bow and arrow down and starts drinking the water, and he collapses too. In time, Bhima comes, and the same thing happens. And finally, the eldest brother Yudhishthira comes there, sees all four of his brothers lying dead, and as he approaches the pond and hears the same sound, he listens to it. It turns out this pond belongs to a Yaksha, and he has this thing where he will ask questions, and if you give the right answers, you're found worthy of drinking water from his pond. A long series of Q&A goes on where the Yaksha asks all sorts of questions, and Yudhishthira answers them with humility, courage, and intelligence. And finally, the Yaksha is satisfied and he says, "I'm so happy with you that I will allow you to bring back to life any one of your brothers. Pick whom you want." Yudhishthira says, "I want Nakula to be born back." The Yaksha is confused. He says, "Arjuna, your brother, is the greatest warrior of all time. Bhima, your brother, is the most powerful person in the world. Why would you pick up Nakula?" And Yudhishthira explains, "My father Pandu had two wives, Kunti and Madri. I, the eldest son of Kunti, am still alive. I would want another son of the second wife of my father to be alive also, and therefore I want Nakula." And this was the final test. The Yaksha brings back all four brothers to life and says, "Yudhishthira, you will forever remain a dharmatma." Now Yudhishthira is confused. He says, "You can't be an ordinary Yaksha. How could you take and give back lives of people? You have to be someone else. Tell me who you are." And the Yaksha smiles and turns into God of death, Lord Yamadharma. And he says, "I am your father. And I was using this as a test. Now that you have passed the test and your brothers are back alive, ask me what boon can I grant." And Yudhishthira, ever the honest and simple person, says, "We came here to ensure that the Brahmana gets back his kindling and his churning rod. All I want from you is to help me retrieve and return that to the Brahmana." Yama smiles and says, "That deer was me, which is why you are not able to kill me. This was the beginning of the test. I have already gone back and returned everything that belongs to the Brahmana. Ask me something else." And Yudhishthira replies, "The 12th year of our exile is about to end. In the 13th year, we are supposed to remain in incognito and not be recognized. Give us a boon that we will not be recognized by anyone, let alone the spies of Duryodhana." Yama grants them the boon and says, "If you walk straight into Hastinapura and into the kingdom and the courts of Duryodhana now, in your current form, they will still not be able to recognize you. I give you that boon. But I suggest you go and live in hiding in the kingdom of Virata. In the kingdom of Virata, you will remain safe and you will be able to build an alliance with that great kingdom, which will help you after the 13th year is over in the battlefield." The Pandavas return back to where Draupadi and all the Brahmanas, along with head priest Dhaumya, are seated, and they now give everybody the sad news that now they have to all depart and find their own way in life. The Brahmanas, after spending 12 years with the Pandavas, are now expected to return back to their own homes, including Dhaumya, because this last year, only the 5 brothers and the wife can go on. And as they separate, they start moving towards the kingdom of Virata. Thus ends the Aranyaka Parva, also known as the Vana Parva. While the conversation between the Yaksha, which is basically Yamadharma, and Yudhishthira, who is also known as Dharma, goes on for a long time and hundreds of questions and answers are exchanged, I thought I want to share with you today 3 which I found really interesting. One question that Yaksha asks is, "Kim Ascharya?" What is astonishing? To which Yudhishthira replies, "Every day humans see all around them hundreds of people dying and going to heaven, and yet they believe that they will live forever. And that is astonishing." The Yaksha asks, "Sukhavaha kaha?" which means, who is happy? And I found the answer that Yudhishthira gave was extremely practical and applies even in today's world. Yudhishthira replies, "The only person who's happy is the one who is debt free and does not have any loan on his head." And finally, the third question is, the Yaksha asks, "Kaha panthaha?" What is the way? And while this is a loaded question which can go in any direction, Yudhishthira responds to it by saying, "The path is the sky." And what that means is that, like the sky, the path represents all our efforts towards gaining knowledge, and that effort, that path, like the sky, is infinite and unending. I would request you to go back to the Aranyaka Parva, which is the last chapter in Aranyaka Parva, in which there's a lot of this Q&A happening. And if you're interested, look through and read more of these.